or let me jump from Greece to French Revolution. When did the revolution really begin? Not when the third estate said simply, the first two estates had too much power, we also want our votes to be here. No, when they said, the first two estates just stand for themselves, we are the people. We, the third estate. This moment of universality, which you find even in Christianity, that's what I like in Christianity. Christianity is for me a religious form of atheism. In Christianity, the message is, God dies, what survives is Heiliger Geist, which means emancipatory, egalitarian community. That's what, even I had debates in München with bishops and so on, and I confused them by asking them the most elementary, simple questions. Like, for example, when Christ says, if you don't hate your mother, father, sister, you are not my follower. What exactly did Christ mean there? My God, it was incredible how, we have to think about it, blah, blah. And the Lord, fuck you. You know this for 2,000 years. I didn't bring some new thing, you know. And then it's incredible what stupid answer I got. One of their answers was, we shouldn't absolutize Christ. Like, my God. I thought, my God, in medieval times, I would burn you for this. No? They told me, God just meant you shouldn't like your parents too much, excessively. Then I told them, this is an obscenity. You are making God a kind of a jealous guy like, you know. I can love you, but God says, but you should love me more. I said, no. And I told him, it's total obscenity. If you read the New Testament, Jesus said, I will return when there will be love among you. Jesus is not the one to be loved. He is the authentic love. Whenever there is authentic love among people, Jesus is there. And this is what I admire in Christianity. Hegel was right when he said that what dies on the cross is not a messenger, a representative of God. Like God sent his son, oh sorry guys, it didn't work, my son, come back to me, you know. I think that, if I may bore you with this a little bit, but it's crucial, I think. The first ideology critique text, it's the book of, how do you pronounce it here? Hiob. Are you aware what we read there? First, things go wrong for Hiob. Then what happens? Ideology. Three theological friends come, each tries to justify his suffering. One said, even if you don't know God is just, you must have done something wrong. The second one says God is testing, but whatever. And Hiob doesn't say I'm innocent. He just insists on one simple fact. I don't accept that my suffering has some deeper meaning. And now comes the miracle, you know. Then God comes, Jehovah, and says, Hiob is right, all that those three idiots, or four, I don't know, friends, theologically, were saying is wrong. And then comes the true miracle. Then Hiob nonetheless asks God, I'm giving you kind of a Reader's Digest simplified version of it, I know. Then Hiob asks God, but nonetheless, why did I suffer? Why it happened? And then God answers with those famous arrogant words, but where were you when I created this, that? And this is usually read, I claim, in a totally wrong way. It's usually read as some kind of affirmation of a radical gap between men and, like, who are you, ordinary idiot, there to understand what were my plans? But my favorite theologist, Gilbert Keith Chesterton, gives a wonderful reading. I couldn't believe my ears. His reading is that God's answer is, you think you are in trouble, but look at the universe. I screwed up everything. Everything is a big mess. Like, it's some kind of abdication of God. And I think this is what Jesus Christ means. It means what dies is God of the beyond. The deepest message of humanity, of Christianity, and I'm not alone here, even a conservative theologist like Paul Claudel accepted this, is that God is helpless without us humans. As Hegel put it nicely, what dies on the cross is not a representative of God, it's God of beyond itself. It's this idea of God, like, you know, this for me the most disgusting metaphor that you can imagine, of that when you see evil, it's like if you look too close at the painting and you think it's just a stain. But if you look at it from a proper distance, you can see that what appeared to you as a stain is part of a global harmony. This, I think, is what the death of Christ symbolically prevents you. It's an obscenity, for example, to say Holocaust, Gulag, or Congo slaughter. This just appears to us as a stain because from our limited view, we cannot see how this contributes to some global harmony and so on and so on. No, the death of Christ means no. You don't have the right to take this abstract view towards some presupposed meaning inaccessible to us. And that's for me the message, Heiliger Geist. Heiliger Geist is simply the community of believers without any transcendent guarantee in God or whatever. Now you will say, but what about the finale of the Bible, all the... Well, there I have Stalinist problems. I think Book of Apocalypse and so on, this is return to paganism. I should... No, you see, this beautiful view of God, and God means any transcendent guarantee. There is some big historical necessity, whatever. No, we are radically alone, left to ourselves. When Christians say that the highest gift of God is freedom, yes, but it's this radical freedom. Freedom of being fully responsible, of being about... Okay, I talk too much, but all this is for me part of European legacy. Because what I like in Europe is that if you look at the notion of justice, the usual pagan notion of justice is restored balance, you know, like some particular part of society or wants too much, and then if you want too much, it's too much, balance has to be restored. Like when I was in China 2 years ago, maybe you know the story, I had the same experience. I asked the Chinese, because you know they no longer use now the term communism. They use the Confucian term harmonious society. So I asked them, could you please explain to me what do you mean? And they gave me a perfect explanation. They say in a harmonious society, every individual does his, her job, is at his or her proper place. Father is a good father, pupil is a good pupil, master is a good master, worker is a good worker, and so on, no? And I told them, oh my God, now there is no multicultural misunderstanding. We call this fascist corporatism in Europe. No. What I want to say is that Christianity stands precisely against this. Against Christianity, the whole idea of Heiliger Geist means that no, we are not part of totality in the sense of, you know, harmonious totality and you just have to play your role. Every one of us has the right to direct contact with universality, bypassing particularity. That's the message of Heiliger Geist and so on, which is later realized in, I'm crazy here, I'm tempted to say that Heiliger Geist is the first form of Communist Party or whatever. That is to say, this idea, okay, Buddhism also has this. We are all equal in nirvana, but in nirvana, the catch of Christianity is this crazy hope that our ultimate equality is not just equality in death, that equality can be materialized as an actual social organization, and so on. So, okay, I can go on indefinitely, I will not, but you see,